it's Megan from Vigilante Vibes, and I am here to give another character breakdown about a character that will be in the Thunderbolts coming up very, very soon, like a week and a half. Some of you have already seen the movie, so I hope you enjoyed it, and be really cool and don't post any spoilers for my other lovely listeners or watchers or subscribers or whatever you want to call yourselves so they don't get spoiled. So today we are focusing on Yelena Belova. So I'm going to start with the MCU version of her. I'm going to give you the comic version of her. And I'm going to take you through her life and give you notable events that made her into the character she is today. At the very end, I will give you comics that I think you should check out so you can check her out on a more personal level. If you know any comics that I missed or I get something wrong, just let me know. I'm perfectly fine with that. So starting off, in the MCU, Yelena Belova is Natasha Romanoff's adoptive sister and another product of the Red Room, trained as a Black Widow and working under General Dreykov. After Natasha defected, Yelena and the other widows were brainwashed into becoming loyal to Dreykov. But once she was freed from that control, Yelena teamed up with Natasha and their adoptive parents, Alexei and Melina, to take down the Red Room for good. They pulled it off, liberating all of the Black Widows, and Yelena was the one who take out Dreykov. After that, Yelena spent a couple years tracking down and freeing the remaining brainwashed widows until she got snapped by Thanos. When she came back during the blip in 2023, she tried to find Natasha, only to learn that she had died. While visiting her sister's grave, she was approached by Val, who we all know and love, or she annoys the piss out of me, who told her Clint Barton was the one responsible for Natasha's death, and gave her a mission to unalive him. So that's what we know so far. We really don't know much about her in Thunderbolts, but I have a feeling that she will be like, she's going to be like the backbone of the team. She's going to be the heart, I think. So time will tell. Stick around for when I do post my review of Thunderbolts, which will be right after I watch it. So you'll get the first reaction and everything. So in the comics, Yelena Belova was created by J.G. Jones and Devin Grayson and first appeared in Inhumans Volume 2, Issue 5 in 1999, a comic that was written by Paul Jenkins and drawn by Jay Lee. But her background was only detailed in Black Widow, Pale Little Spider, numbers 1 through 3 from 2002. Yelena is an asexual Russian super spy who was trained to be the ultimate Black Widow at the Red Room Academy. She was kind of obsessed with Natasha Romanoff. She looked up to her. She idolized her, who's the original Black Widow, and went through intense training just to outdo her. You can see this in Black Widow number 1. But Natasha, trying to teach her a harsh lesson, pulled off a pretty brutal stunt to show Yelena that being a spy wasn't all the glory. It mostly meant being used by others. That opened Yelena's eyes, and she decided to ditch her handlers and go on her own way. You can see this in Black Widow Volume 2. Later on, she ended up working for a shady part of S.H.I.E.L.D., but things went south when she got badly injured in the Savage Land. AIM, the villainous science group, offered to help, but it came at a price. They turned her into a super adaptoid and sent her to the Avengers. This can be seen in New Avengers number 6. She kept working with AIM for a while, even becoming a high-ranking official in her own little nation on Barbuda in Secret Avengers Volume 2, number 2. Eventually, though, she died in a clash between AIM and S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Avengers team. This can be seen in Secret Avengers Volume 2, number 15. But the Red Room had a backup plan. They could clone their top agents. Even though Natasha shut that operation down, she managed to bring Yelena back by transferring her memories into a clone body in Tales of Suspense number 104. In Widowmakers, Red Guardian, and Yelena Belova number 1, she now has her life back, and Yelena's teamed up with Natasha and taken on the name as White Widow. She's now helping train the next generation of young female spies so they can survive and stay in control of their own lives, which can be seen in Black Widow Volume 8, number 6. That is the quick version of her life, and the comics where you can see it for yourself. Now, I'm going to start all the way at the beginning and give you some pretty notable events about her life that I think have made the character what she is today, which is a badass. Yelena Belova was basically the star student at the Red Room Academy. She was super focused on becoming the best Black Widow ever, partly to make her parents proud. Unlike most of the other trainees, Yelena specialized almost entirely in physical training, and apparently her test scores even beat out those of Natasha Romanoff, the original Black Widow who later went rogue. At the academy, Yelena rose quickly through the ranks and became a captain. She was especially close to her instructor, Colonel Starkovsky, and a doctor named Laika Medvedev. Things took a dark turn when her boss, General Tishchenko, sent her to look into a weird and very sketchy murder of Starkovsky, who was found dead in a bondage-themed nightclub. There she met the club's manager, a dominatrix named Nikki, who weirdly knew way too much about the Black Widow program and Yelena herself. Nikki revealed that Starskovsky had been a regular at the club and would pay big money to spend time with a sex worker named Petra, who wore a costume just like Yelena's, which is so weird. It's so awkward. Oh, it's so weird. After finding out that Starkovsky's disturbing fantasies involving her, Yelena suspected Petra was involved with his death. That suspicion grew when she later discovered the body of a detective named Galatzin in Petra's room. When Yelena confronted Petra, she found out the woman was basically an unhinged copycat who had gotten her hands on the Black Widow files and decided she wanted to be Yelena. So she killed Starkovsky and planned to take Yelena out too. Petra actually managed to get a shot at Yelena, but Yelena pulled through and ultimately defeated her. Back at the academy, Yelena dealt with all the trauma by emotionally shutting down. She reported her success to Tishchenko, who turns out had orchestrated the whole thing with Nikki, who was secretly a Red Room captain. It had all been a twisted test to push Yelena into fully stepping into the Black Widow role, which honestly would make me step away. But I guess I'm different from Yelena. As the Black Widow, Yelena was sent to work under Colonel Yuri Stalyenko. Things got messy when Stalyenko, who was under the influence of Maximus the Mad, tried to bring down the protective barriers around the hidden and human city of Adelan. Yelena ended up reaching out to an American agent named Mr. Bixby, giving him a high-powered device from Maximus that could give the U.S., Russia, and other countries an edge in a potential war with Adelan. Later, when both the U.S. and Russian governments were after a dangerous bioweapon called the Deathless Frenzy, Natasha Romanoff was sent to retrieve it. But at Yelena's request, Stalyenko sent her too, to keep tabs on Natasha and make sure the serum went to Russia. Yelena was secretly watching Natasha from a nearby apartment, not realizing that Natasha was totally aware of her surveillance. Eventually, Yelena followed her to Rapistan, where they briefly teamed up to fight off local soldiers. During the chaos, Yelena had the chance to show both her admiration and frustration towards Natasha. After the battle, Natasha managed to escape the bioweapon and Yelena trailed after her. She caught up with Natasha in Zurich, where Natasha was working on an antidote for the bioweapon. Yelena was tricked into thinking Natasha had been killed by S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and went back to Rapistan to finish the mission herself, but it didn't go well. She got captured. Luckily, Natasha came through and ruined Colonel Khan's plans and rescued her. Afterward, Natasha gave Yelena a reality check. Spying isn't about heroics or emotions. It's a whole different game, and bringing passion into it can get you burned. To give Yelena a harsh lesson about what being a spy really means, Natasha Romanoff set up an elaborate plan. Under orders from Nick Fury, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s agents kidnapped Yelena and surgically swapped her face with Natasha's, which is just so excessive. They left her in Natasha's apartment, and when Yelena woke up, she saw her new face and was totally shaken. Daredevil showed up, reluctantly helping with Natasha's plans, and found Yelena trying to wrap her head around everything. Wandering around New York, Yelena was given a mission: assassinate Yelena Belova. But the twist, that Yelena was actually Natasha, now wearing her face. Confused and disoriented, Yelena went after her target, thinking that she was taking down Natasha, only to realize she was basically attacking herself. Meanwhile, Natasha, disguised as Yelena, reached out to Stalienko, bringing up his sketchy nuclear deals on American soil. He caught on that it wasn't really Yelena, played along, and orders his agents to eliminate the imposter. Back in New York City, Daredevil helped Yelena regain her sense of self, cluing her in on the parts of the plan and reminding her who she really was. When Natasha met with Stalienko, Daredevil made sure Yelena was secretly watching. That's when she learned the hard truth. Stalienko never cared about her. He saw her more as nothing but a pawn, using her loyalty and patriotism to serve his own goals. Furious, Yelena turned on him and knocked him out, as she should. Later, she confronted Natasha, calling out how messed up the whole plan was. Natasha told her that now she finally understood what it really meant to be a spy. Yelena, deeply hurt and feeling like her identity had been violated, demanded Natasha undo the face swap. She wanted her life and her face back. Yelena stepped away from the spy game for a bit and started a whole new life. She built a successful lingerie business in Havana, but it wasn't just about fashion. She used her resources to protect the local sex workers and provide medicine to people dealing with HIV. She let go of her rivalry with Natasha Romanoff and even helped her out when Natasha was on the run, giving her a safe space to hide. At one point, Yelena asked Natasha to help smuggling some stolen medical supplies out of Miami. But when Natasha checked them out, she realized they were from a shady company called Gynecon, and also found out that Sally Ann Carter had been kidnapped by the mafia. A lot happened. Things got even more intense when Kestrel and Martin Ferris captured Natasha in Miami and tried to mess with her head using drugs to extract secrets. Yelena teamed up with Daredevil to rescue her, and once Natasha was back on her feet, she hunted down and took out both Kestrel and Ferris. Eventually, Yelena got back into the spy game. This time, she was working with a rogue group inside S.H.I.E.L.D. that was secretly mining vibranium in the Savage Land and using slave labor to do it. Not exactly what I would call a good look. But what can you do? When the Avengers showed up to shut it down, her squad did not hold back. They fought back hard. But in the middle of the chaos, Soren, yeah, the flying dinosaur guy, swooped in and torched the place, leaving Yelena with severe burns. While she was recovering in intensive care, a mysterious Hydra agent approached her with an offer. They'd fix her body and give her the power to get revenge. She accepted, and Hydra handed her over to AIM's scientists, who gave her the abilities of a super adaptoid. The deal was simple: take down the Avengers. Not long after, right before Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' wedding, Yelena stormed Avengers Tower. Thanks to her new powers, she could copy any ability used against her, which made her nearly unstoppable. She even picked up the Sentry's powers, but unfortunately that included the Void's mental instability. Things went south fast. Once the people pulling the strings realized Yelena probably wasn't going to succeed, they activated a built-in failsafe and killed her remotely. Just like that. So she died. But like many comics, many characters in the comics, they don't stay dead. Here's an example. After the whole Skrull invasion mess, Norman Osborn caught Yelena looting an abandoned S.H.I.E.L.D. base and offered her a job. He wanted her to lead his Thunderbolts team in the field. But here's the twist, that Yelena was actually Natasha Romanoff in disguise, sent by Nick Fury to infiltrate the Thunderbolts. Turns out Osborn wasn't fooled at all. He knew the truth from the beginning and used Natasha to bring the team closer together to try and track down Fury and Songbird. While he didn't manage to hurt any of them, he did walk away with something big. He got his hands on the real Yelena Belova's body and kept it stored in Avengers Tower. After being recovered by AIM, Yelena was brought back and placed on their high council by Scientist Supreme Andrew Forzen. He made her the Minister of State in their new country, AIM Island, located in Barbuda. Her first move? She declared that they needed an army fast because a big war was coming, and she got support from Taskmaster, AIM's double agent, and the Minister of Defense. AIM soon found themselves clashing directly with S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers during a weapons expo showcasing the Iron Patriot armor. Forzen and Yelena showed up to steal it, only to face off against Daisy Johnson, Nick Fury, and Senator Rebel Ralston. With her adaptoid powers, Yelena wiped the floor with her opponents, even killing Ralston in the process. In the end, AIM got their hands on the Iron Patriot tech. S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't having any of that, though. In retaliation for AIM using the Iron Patriot tech in terrorist attacks, they sent the Avengers to AIM Island to take down Forzen. Yelena personally went after Natasha Romanoff, who was working with S.H.I.E.L.D. At one point, she nearly took out Natasha Romanoff, but Hawkeye swooped in and saved her. Things got even messier when Mockingbird got caught and ended up stranded on AIM Island. After all of that, Yelena pushed Forzen to focus on creating a top-tier army for AIM to back up their plans. Forzen, however, tried to hit on her, which she definitely wasn't having. She shot down his advances hard. It's just gross. When S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Avengers tried to sneak back into AIM Island to rescue Mockingbird, Yelena intercepted them with a whole squad of soldiers and managed to capture them. But things took a turn once they arrived on the island. Nick Fury knocked Yelena out cold. After that, Yelena ran into Songbird and the two got into a fight. They ended up behind a metal gate during the scuffle, and when they came out, Mockingbird was shot dead by an AIM operative under Forzen's orders. The Avengers grabbed her body and made a getaway into a submarine, but it turned out the dead Mockingbird wasn't actually her. It was Yelena, who had been tricked into assuming Mockingbird's form using a hollow camouflage device Mockingbird snuck into their fight. It's just also strange. I like it. Later, the Red Room had clones of Yelena in the works as part of a backup plan to bring back their top agents if they died. When Natasha Romanoff found out about the cloning program and about her own origins as a clone, she rebelled against the people who created her. She secretly activated 3 of Belova's clones and used them for various plans. She allegedly killed the real Yelena so one of the clones could take her place. Romanoff had one of these clones fake the death of a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, Sally Blevins. After Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier spotted the clone at the scene, Romanoff had another clone pretend to be her and throw them off. The Winter Soldier captured the clone and didn't get any info about her before Romanoff killed her when they met up. Eventually, Romanoff took down the cloning program that created her, wiping out most of the cloned Black Widows, except for this one. She used a psychic named Epsilon Red to implant the memories of the original Yelena into the last unconscious clone to make up for what she had done to Belova. With full control over her life and identity, Yelena was recruited by Justin Kask to break Dr. Durst out of S.H.I.E.L.D. prison in Antarctica. She was given a white version of the Black Widow costume and dropped it off at the facility, only to realize she'd been set up. She was basically a target for Dr. Durst and his soldiers to practice on. But things took a turn when she discovered that the Red Guardian was being held there too. After freeing him, Yelena managed to escape while the Red Guardian kept Durst's forces busy. Afterward, she hacked into Kask's financial accounts and donated all of his fortune to charities, choosing to take the hero route in her own way. Later, Yelena found out that Natasha had been kidnapped and brainwashed into thinking she was living a normal life as an architect, a wife, and a mother. To help, Yelena infiltrated her life, pretended to be Helen, a babysitter for Natasha's son. When Natasha's memories came back, Yelena helped her escape from her enemies. The two became allies, with Yelena taking on the identity of the White Widow. Together, they started planning to recruit other heroes to help Natasha fight off her enemies. While Yelena was in the middle of trying to take out Maxissimo Best, Captain America stopped her and tried to convince her to use her skills for good. But she didn't give up being an assassin, but decided to move to Ideal Haven with her dog, Bent Clarton, to figure out who she really was and maybe be a good neighbor for once. She also started making a list of everything she had an opinion on to figure out where she stood on things. What she didn't know was that Armament Industries was investing a lot in the town's businesses and using it as a training ground for assassins. Armament Industries was luring assassins in with the promises of free robotics and insurance as long as they followed orders. But they messed up with Zelda's shop, took over her favorite coffee shop, and attacked her in her own apartment. Yelena had enough. She decided to take down Armament for good. With some help from her tech-savvy neighbor, Griffin LeChance, Yelena took down the CEO of Armament. But she soon discovered the real mastermind behind the company was Renata Best, Maxissimo's, it's a very hard word to say, Maxissimo's daughter. Renata was using Ideal Haven as a training ground for automated killing machines that learned from watching the assassins work. Yelena used the robot's self-destruct feature to destroy them and take out Renata. After making friends with her neighbors, Yelena realized she loved being part of a team. So later, she joined Revolution's Thunderbolts to track down and recover the late Red Skull's fortune, while also hunting the real Red Skull hiding out in Latveria. So, that is the long version of who Yelena Belova is. She has had such a tragic life. Natasha was correct that being a spy means you get used by people, and that's most of her life. But she always pulls through somehow, if it means getting a new body, means clones are made after you. She still does it, and she still tries to be a hero in her own way. So, as always, I have some comics I think you should check out just to get to know Yelena a lot better. So, starting off, Secret Avengers. Next one, New Avengers Annual. Black Widow, Pale Little Spider. Widowmakers, Red Guardian, and Yelena Belova. Devin Grayson's Black Widow. Black Widow Volume 2, Blood Hunters by Erica Schultz, which shows her really well working on a team with like Dagger, Elsa Bloodstone, and Hallows Eve. I can't remember. I can't believe I remembered it. It was going to drive me nuts. The next one is Winter Guard, and of course her very own comic run, White Widow. So that is another breakdown by me. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of these breakdowns or my podcast episodes or my review for Thunderbolts when it comes out. So with that being said, have a marvelous day.